it's really about providing value at the end of the day. And it's not just who knows you, but who knows you and do they know how you can help them. This podcast is for educational purposes only. Nothing you hear on this show is legal or investment advice, nor is it an offer to buy or sell securities. Always consult your own legal and financial professionals before making decisions. Welcome to the Capital Flow podcast, where our conversations help capital raisers and fund managers create flow in their capital, their business, and their life by learning from those who've built systems that attract resources instead of chasing them. If you've raised $5 million or more, this show is for you. Each week, we dive into the systems and stories of real capital raisers who attract investors through trust, systems, and relationships. I'm your host, Dallon Schultz. This is our co-host, Paul Kartchner. Let's get into the flow.
Let's go.
So we're super excited. This is actually our launch episode for the Capital Flow podcast. So what Paul and I would like to do over the next few minutes is just share with you guys a little bit about our why and what the purpose is for this show. So there's really three things that, as we've gone through our journey in raising capital, there's really three themes or areas that we've recognized that just about everything else you do falls into it. And that is raising capital versus attracting capital, what a sales pipeline is versus a trust timeline, and then really the relationships that you make along the way. And we've all heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But we want to flip the script on that a little bit. And it's not so much about who you know, it's who knows you. So Paul and I are going to share our thoughts on these few things over the next couple minutes. And then what you'll find every week on each episode is we're going to be having guest real capital raisers coming in, talking about their real life experiences. And you'll see how a lot of the things we discuss and talk about play into those three concepts. So Paul, let's start talking a little bit about our mindset and philosophy around raising capital versus attracting capital.
Yeah, I think people just, they get into the space thinking that capital is just going to come to them because maybe they have some credibility or they partnered up with somebody that has credibility. But it's really, capital raising's a relationship game. And I feel like as you tell people what you're doing, show people what you're doing, and you're top of mind, you're really attracting people to you. Instead of like always pitching them and selling them on this great deal and opportunity, like just show people what you're doing.
I think that's a trap a lot of people fall into, is that when you think of raising capital, they default to just sales. And most of us have a bad idea, or we get a bad taste in our mouth when we hear sales. And that word of raising, I think most of us can agree that feels very external, outward effort, where attracting, you're positioning yourself in a way where things are flowing to you. And that's really the difference there. And that's why we're excited to really dive into it and share a little bit more of the experiences of the guests we bring on. So let's talk a little bit about our idea here about the sales pipeline versus a trust timeline. And maybe let's just start at the basics of really what a sales pipeline is.
I like to think of a pipeline, and I'm a very visual person. And so I think of, I have somebody, maybe it's a cold lead or maybe in someone that I know over here, but I want them to be over here. And so you create stages in that pipeline of, I need to get this investor to the next stage in the pipeline. So what do I need to do now to just get them one step further? So that's what I think when I visualize and think about what a sales pipeline is.
It's really the journey, right? Anyone that's been in a sales position, they've used some sort of CRM or some sort of tool to track that process and that journey of the investor. And when Paul and I were talking about this as we were building our CRM for capital raisers, we realized that it's not so much about the stages that's important, but it's more so what that person needs to go through. At the end of the day, most people that are investing, minimum, it might be $50,000 to $100,000 if you're talking with high net worth individuals. So that amount of trust that needs to be there for somebody to write that amount of check is huge. And so rather than thinking of a sales pipeline, we've had this conversation around a trust timeline. And it's not what you need that person to do, it's what they need to feel and what they need to experience. Hey, Dallon here. We'll get right back to the show in less than 60 seconds, but I wanted to take a moment to share something that could be costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost capital: your email deliverability. If your open rates aren't at least between 40 and 60%, I'm going to guess you don't have a content problem. You most likely have a deliverability problem. That means your emails are landing in spam, meaning potential investors are not being nurtured effectively, or even worse, never even having a chance to see your investment offering. But it's okay. We're going to help you fix that. My team put together a free guide with 10 best practices to ensure you're avoiding spam and actually hitting your leads inbox. Your email reputation is like a credit score. It can take years to build and moments to ruin it. So don't make the same mistakes we did. The resource is short, tactical, and will get your emails back where they belong, the inbox. So go ahead, click on the link in the description or show notes below to access the checklist so you can avoid capital slipping through your fingers because of a simple fix. Click the link below, and now let's get back to the show. To get to that level of trust, to where they're comfortable writing that check. And it doesn't matter if you're talking to family offices, investment advisors. We're going to have guests on here that have raised capital from all sources. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to that trust and how to build it. So we'd like to flip the script on that. And it's not so much a sales pipeline, it's really the trust timeline. And when you think of it that way, you start positioning and doing what you need to do to not raise capital, but to attract it. So these things really start playing in together.
Yeah, it goes back to that point exactly of raising and attracting, because it almost feels transactional when you think of like a sales pipeline. It's like, okay, we had a call, now we got to get them, to commit and close the deal. But if you think about it building trust, it's really the giver mentality. Okay, what do I need to give them for them to feel comfortable and trusting you to move to the next step in the process?
And when we came up with this title for this podcast, A Capital Flow, you were talking about this right before we started recording. When you think about a river, as it flows, it takes the path of least resistance. And what we're really trying to do with this show and with this podcast is bring people in to share their real life experiences of how they've reduced friction and really create that flow, so capital and opportunities are just opening up to them.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot of things that our guests talk about and that we talk about on the show that it relates to capital raising, but it's more like your mentality and the way that you attract things and really the flow state of your mind and what you need to do in your own life to be able to attract anything that you want. So I think that's what's going to set us apart from maybe some other podcasts that just talk about maybe real estate investing or some other entrepreneurial industries. But that's what I love. And we've had a little sneak peek because we've already pre-recorded some episodes. And man, you guys are in for a treat. It's going to be amazing. Yeah,
we've got some freaking rock stars that are going to be coming on and even more as we continue building our network. So now that third thing we want to talk about or mention, that it's not what you know, it's who knows you. And I think the one caveat I'll throw into this is you definitely got to know what you're doing, especially when it comes to raising capital, because oftentimes, almost every time, you're regulated by the SEC depending on how you structure those deals. So Paul and I, we're not financial advisors. We're not securities attorneys. So this is our disclaimer, along with the disclaimer that we put before every single episode, that this is for educational purposes only. Our guests coming in are just going to be sharing their experiences. If you're looking to raise capital for anything, be sure to talk to your financial professionals, your CPAs, your investment advisors, and definitely a securities attorney. So it's important that obviously you got to have a track record, you got to have experience, you got to have that credibility. The cool thing is in real estate, especially, and other businesses, you may not be the one with that skill set or that credibility, but your partner might. And so you're able to partner up and do more together than you could on your own. So yes, you got to know. Yes, it's important what you know, but the second part to this, it's who knows you. So Paul, share with us your thoughts on that. Because when everyone hears this, it's like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But we've twisted that a little bit.
Who knows you? Man, as I think about that, there's one person that comes to mind. I won't mention any names, but he's very active on social media. I think it's the day and age where you're missing a lot of opportunities if you're not. And he's posting about his deals. He's posting about how he's helped people, grow their wealth or preserve their wealth. And he's just showing, like, he's not pitching anything. He's just showing what he's doing. And he told me the other day that like 85% of the people that invest with him message him on Facebook. It's insane.
Wow.
And I even had some money that I wanted to invest, and I was looking for some opportunities, and I messaged him on Facebook because I saw what he was doing. It's really intriguing. So I think that it's really, we're in this time where people, they're going to invest with somebody else that they know. If they don't know you, if you're not top of mind, if you're not, showing some, awareness, I guess, lack of a better term, but if they don't know you, they're gonna, they know someone else, or they're gonna find somebody else to invest with.
There's a quote I heard recently, and it said that this person stated that money flows where value leads. And so when you think about, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. It's about building that awareness to you, as to your point, but it's providing value in a way that people are attracted to you. And you're not just some other person or guru or somebody out there. Like, these are real people. They're looking for real connections and authenticity. And one of the best ways to do that is through social media, emails, live events. There's different ways to do it, but it's really about providing value at the end of the day. And it's not just who knows you, but who knows you, and do they know how you can help them, how you can serve them. So those things really go hand in hand. And so we're really excited about getting into more depth and with these conversations with these guests. And to our listener, you're going to see how a lot of these stories and things that they share are going to play into these three areas. And we're going to be tying into them quite a bit. But really, the whole purpose and reason we wanted to put this podcast together was a resource for people that feel stuck. They've raised $5 million or more. And look, maybe you haven't raised $5 million yet, but you want to, then listen to the show, because the people that are coming on have often raised millions of dollars. We've had people on the show that have raised up to $100 million. We're going to have a gentleman on the show that's raised over $2 billion. So we're going to have everything in between, but you'll recognize these recurring themes. So, man, we're excited for this launch. We're excited to get this rocking and rolling. And look, if you're really, really wanting to take this serious and wanting to figure out how to attract capital and add to your life and to those around you, then you're going to miss out if you're not tuning in every week.
Yeah, and I think also, like, you're going to be learning. We all have things that we can learn from each other. And things are changing. The market's changing. Whatever's going on in the world is always changing. So what is working currently to attract capital and get that capital flow going for you?
Yeah, these aren't GPT scripts that we're reading on the podcast. These are people like actively raising capital today. So you're going to get the most current updates, trends, and things that actually work. So, well, go ahead. Don't wait on us any longer. Go ahead, jump to that first episode and start tuning in. And we're looking forward to hearing from you guys.
We'll see you guys.